today's video we are going to talk about the successful transaction life cycle. Okay, so this is related with the suppose if we do we purchase any products, okay, from our e-commerce website. Okay, we do the payments. Okay, but we are not aware about what is happening behind the scenes. Okay, so there are various steps which are involved, which basically our amount is getting debited from our credit card or from our account, and it is going to be to store into the payment provider. From their payment provider it is going to be credited again into the merchant account. So if you talk about a successful transaction life cycle, so on a very broad or widely we can categorize into these four steps. One is the authorized, means the transaction has been verified, like the customer and card details has been verified, and it is good to capture the transacted amount. Once it is authorized, it is going to submit it for settlement and settling. Okay, and after that it is settled. So this, if you think about these three blocks, okay, which means that if a customer is paying through a card, which means there is a bank is definitely going to involve, and there is a payment provider. So here we are taking the payment provider as a PayPal. Okay, so amount is getting debited from the customer credit card, and that is going to credit it into the payment providers. Again, from the payment provider, this amount must be credited into the merchant account. For that the transaction happened. Okay, so this submitted for settlement, settling and settled is a, broadly we can say, the two-step process. So once this process is happening from the customer account to the payment provider, and from the payment provider to the merchant account. Okay, so if you like deep dive some more, like suppose I have tried to explain why through the various stages, okay, of a particular transaction. So suppose we purchase something, we did the payment. Okay, so this we are treated as a new transactions. Okay, now this new transaction is going to convert it into the authorizing transactions. Okay, which means that it is going to check, okay, and did the some like validations whether this credit card information or customer information is loyal or not. Okay, so some like a background check is happening. Okay, like CVV is getting verified whether it is genuine or not. So if the authorizing is happening for a transaction, the outcome of this, either it is declined, okay, which means due to some reasons, okay, it was declined, maybe the CVV or the card details is incorrect, and it is failed due to some technical glitches, like while it's connecting to the while doing the fraud check. Okay, suppose we are considering here is a happy path, like authorizations happened. Okay, so now the state of that transaction will be converted, will be the authorized. Okay, means it is good to take the money from the customer account to the payment provider and proceed further. Once it is authorized, this transaction is now applicable to also trigger the voided, which means once it is authorized we can able to cancel it. Okay, so voided means here in the terms of the Braintree or PayPal is called the voided. So only the authorized transactions, or there is some other state of the transaction which we'll see into the next slide. Okay, so if the transaction is authorized, means at that times, if it is the happy path, we are going to call the submitted for settlement. If it is like someone like by using the calling to customer care or due to some any reason, it could be the cancelled. If the transaction is moved to the submitted for settlement, means settlement state is in progress, from there it is also qualified to make it as a cancelled. So at this state also we can call the voided and make it cancelled. Now once after this process happened successfully, now it is coming to here settled, means transaction successfully settled. Okay, so once settled, after that we cannot make it as a voided. Okay, we cannot say like to cancel it. Okay, so this cancellation will going to happen through the different process that is called the refund. okay, which means we will cancel the orders. Okay, like suppose the whatever we have ordered, if we are going to do cancel the order, so the amount we can take the refund. Okay, so that will be the refund process. We'll see this one by one through our the demo sessions. So in this video we are going to mainly focus like these three types of the connectors. Okay, one is the void, which means the cancels. So everything's here, like whether we are doing the void, settlement and refund, that is on the basis of the transactions ID. So each and every transaction has a unique identifier we call as ID or transaction ID. So once we are calling the void or cancelling any transaction against a transaction ID, this is the pre-qualified, means that transaction state must be authorized or submitted for settlement or settlement pending. Okay, now coming to this settlement one. So if it is like we have to do the settlement, so the pre-qualified thing is that transaction state must be in authorized. Okay, against this transaction ID we can settle this. Okay, but while we are doing the settlement, it has also the two category, either full amount settled or partial amount settled. Okay, so when we are passing the along with the transaction ID the amount which is less than the authorized amount, which is qualified as a partial amount. If we are not passing the amount, just passing the transaction ID, so it will consider as a full amount settlement. Similar to in the process of refund. So here refund has also two category, partial amount refund and full amount refund. Okay, so this partial amount full refund, partial amount refund and full amount refund all are happening against the transaction ID. The pre-qualified transaction state must be either it is settling or settled. When we are passing transaction ID along with the amount and that amount is less than or equal to settled amount, okay, or settling amount, that is called the partial. If we are not passing the amount and we are only passing the transaction ID, which means this is the full amount. Okay, so let's see, we will see one by one. Okay, so let's see, this application is already running. Okay, so first let me create one of the transactions. Like I'm creating one of the customer, I'm creating one of the payment method and one of the transaction sales, so that we have already like if you follow my previous video you can be able to see how we have done. Okay, so let me quickly see here. Let me create one cust ID 108. Here I am say Saurav Sarkar. Just I am making some basic changes. Okay, let it be like here this the delivery address and billing address, let it be like that only. Okay, orders I am keeping same, just make the amount change 560 here something, let me 530, and here there is no any discount. Okay, so that I'm creating what I'm creating one customer. Okay, along with that I'm creating the billing address, delivering address. Along with that, this is the card details through which the payment is happening, and this is the orders against this order this payment is happening. Let me send it and see. So 200, okay, and here it is success is true, that is perfect. Let's see what happened through here in the vault in our sandbox. So here you can say 108. Okay, cust ID has been created. Okay, and here you can see there is one transaction against this, and this transaction is the state of this transaction is authorized. Okay, I wanted to also show you like from this sandbox also we can able to create one transaction. So suppose this is the my default card which I have already stored in the vault, and from there it is getting appeared for each and every one. So suppose from here sandbox also we can able to initiate one transactions. So suppose I wanted to make it 200, tax amount 30. Okay, exempted purchase order, let it be like this. Order ID I'm saying 101, SQ fraud checking. Okay, so by using the another card I am initiating one more, use saved billing address. So the same billing address I am using. Okay, so let's see. So if you see here, like since we have created, if you go to the vault, again search, so you can able to see against this customer ID, it has the two transactions now, one against this card, one against this card. The transaction which we made through this card, it is still into the authorized state, and the transaction which we made into the against the our from the sandbox, it is submitted for the settlement. If you open it, okay, you can able to see the details of these transactions. So if you say for these transactions, it is sent first, it was authorized and immediately sent for the submitted for the settlement. But this was not picked for the settlement, means it is waiting for the batch jobs. When it will be running, it is going to pick and send it. Okay. Now suppose we are going to deal with this transaction. So here you can see it's already showing us this transaction is eligible to void, which means we can able to cancel this transaction. So let's see. Okay, I have already one API I have created using the transaction void. Okay, while we are doing the configuration of this transaction void, it's only looking for the transaction ID, nothing else. Okay, so Braintree configuration is needed and then the transaction ID. So let's see like through which we can able to see. So here is the transaction ID. Let me paste this ID, transaction ID, and send it. So it is success true. Okay, let's see, refresh this page and see. Now you can see the voided one has already gone, means this is now not qualified for the void. Let's see what happened. So here you can see at this time this transaction was authorized. Okay, after this transaction was voided, means that transaction was cancelled. Okay, which happens again this. So now we can be able to see like we can able to transact by use like we can cancel this transaction by using this transaction ID, and it was the qualified for the authorized one. Okay, coming to settlement. Okay, let's see. So in order to see the settlement, so here if you again refresh this page, you can be able to see this transaction was voided. Okay, this amount, and this is submitted for the settlement. Now let's see which transaction is qualified for the settlement. So let me search it. Okay, instead of customer, let me search the transactions. Okay, so I am searching these transactions. Okay, so we can say there are so many transactions I can see which are available. So I need to pick as per the, so who can, like we can settle it. So we can settle it through the authorized, only the authorized transaction we can able to set it. Okay, so let's see this transaction, and I'm taking this ID, and let's see whether I'm able to settle this or not. Okay, so suppose it is 470. Okay, so let me see which one is coming. Okay, so it is refund, not refund, submit for the settlement. So it is doing the full settlement. Okay, so let's see this one. So when we are talking about the settlement configuration, you can see here I'm just using the transaction ID. Okay, nothing else. Okay, if we, these are the optional field for order ID, product ID, and then amount. Once we are passing this amount one, okay, once we are passing the amount one, which means this is going to be the partial settlement. Okay, so let's see this settlement and see how we can able to do the full settlement, then we'll see the partial one. Okay, so I'm doing the full settlement, full amount settlement using the transaction ID. So here we need to take this transactions ID. Perfect. Let's see what is the status. Okay, so here I need to go to full settlement. I'm passing this. Let's see. So 200, let me see, success, yeah, success 2, which means this amount has settled. So how we can able to see this? Okay, so we search this. Okay, so let's open this. Okay, we can able to see. Now you can able to see this was authorized, okay, long back 925, and now I have submitted for settlement this 470. So we can able to see this is the full settlement 470. Okay, Let me see some qualified transactions which are available for the partial settlement. Okay, so for that, okay, let me select this one. Okay, authorize one. Okay, and this transaction ID, and let me see what is the current status. So this is the authorized. Okay, so let me see whether I can able to do the partial settlement or not. Okay, so if I'll go that postman, oh, okay, by the way, suppose already this is submit for settlement, and if I'm again trying to do the full settlement, see what will happen. Okay, it will 200. Okay, fine, but here you'll see the success will be false. But then cannot submit for settlement unless a status is authorized. So which means some validation is already happening. So cannot submit settlement unless the status is authorized, and the same we are saying here. Okay. Now coming to the partial settlement. Okay, so for partial, let's take this one, and I'm passing, suppose this amount I need to settle. Okay, 77, like suppose. Okay, so what is the customer ID was there? I need to see here. Okay, so the customer ID was 10. Sorry, this is the, okay, or yeah, 106. Okay, so I need to take here transaction partial settlement 1006. Okay, and here suppose I wanted to make it 100. Okay, this is the partial settle. So if you see here, the total authorized amount is the 500. Okay, so let me see here how this is going to behave. So this is 200. Fine, here it is success is true. Okay, now refresh this. If you see here, now this is the partial settlement happened, means here is the 500. Out of this $500, it is the settlement is happening for the 100. Okay, means we still have the 400. So which means if I will still try, this must be come again. Okay, let's see again for the this. Again 200. Success. Okay, cannot submit for the settle until status is authorized, which means that this is already settlement happened. Okay, means this is now not at all authorized. Okay, means against this already settlement happened. Okay, this is the reason it's saying we cannot settle this, because now the transaction has been changed. Okay, how we can able to see here, if you go here, see a status history submitted for settlement. Okay, now a status history showing the initial amount 500 which was authorized, now 100 rupees sent for the submit for the settlement. Okay, so here it's showing the both two, so we can able to see the how the state of the transaction is very important while to this. Okay, now coming to again back to our transactions. So we have covered, let me see the status, and so we have covered void, cancellations, settlement once it is pre-qualified state is authorized, partial amount, full amount. Okay, now the settled refund, sorry. So for refund, what is the criteria? The state must be settling all settled. Okay, so let's choose here what are the things. Okay, so this amount is already settled, this transaction ID. Okay, let's take it. Okay, so here you can see already it's showing it is refund, means it is qualified for the refund. Okay, so let us take as a this amount is settled. So here you can, against any transaction, you can be able to see the entire transaction state, how these things is happening. So this transaction is authorized, after that it was submitted for settlement, after that it was settled. Okay, now once it is settled, we have these options already enabled as a refund. Okay, so let's see how we can able to refund this. So first we are going to for the partial amount refund. So what we need, this one, a transaction ID. Okay, so let's take the partial refund. So I'm putting this transaction ID. Okay, and this is against which customer? 105, and refund amount, suppose make it 130. Okay, so once I will see, let's see what is happening. See, success, true. Now let's refresh. It will take some time, just wait. It's not coming here. Okay, no worries, we can able to see here, maybe in the transactions search, you will see in the minus $130. See here, so in the minus 130 credited this. Okay, if you open this, you can able to see here submitted for settlement, which means it is minus 130. How we can able to relate this? Okay, let me so against this customer ID, okay, you are able to see this is happening. This is the refunded transactions. Okay, so if you see here, this is the transaction ID which has been generated by for the refund. Okay, and this is the refunded transaction. So what is this? The refunded transactions means, if you see here, this is the same things we have used for our refund 3D this. So this will indicate that against this transaction ID it was refunded. If you open this transaction ID from here, you can able to see the status of this settled. Okay, so suppose out of 460, okay, we did it as a 130, means which we have the some remaining amount still. Suppose again the same, we want to again make it 100. Let's see how this is going to behave. So 200, again it's success, which means that if you see this, let me search this all transactions. So there must be one more. Okay, it's taking time. Let's wait. So here, like 130 here, you can see there is 100 USD. Okay, so it is refunding, and if you see, it is again linked with the refunded transaction, which is nothing but our original one. Okay, so it is refunding because it has the sufficient. Okay, so out of this 460, 230 we have. Okay, think from that perspective. If I want to refund which is more amount, okay, like suppose 500 from the same, okay, $500, that is not possible because we have the less amount. See how this Braintree connector is going to perform. 200, okay, fine, but if you see here, it will success false. What is saying? Message refund amount is too large. Okay, means the amount which we wanted to refund, okay, take the refund, that is too large than the settled amount. If you see here, yeah, so here if you see the submitted, so it will only showing the last submitted status, like it is the 100 submitted for settlement. Okay, because it is taking the last one only. But here if you see, the transaction ID must be there similar to that to match it. Okay, so here you can see the, see here 3DY2Z96Z, here it's saying the transaction ID. Okay, which means that refund amount is too large. Okay, suppose I am making as a 50, which is less. Okay, it will again refund this amount against the same transaction ID. Okay, if you see here, it is success true, and if you go here, if you search, you will get another 51. See here, so this is called the partial refund we are doing once the that is settled. Okay, now take one examples, this one where we are going to do the full. So in this we have covered this refund against the transaction ID and amount qualify as a partial amount. Now we are doing the refund as a full amount. So this is already settled. Okay, so let's take these examples. Okay, so I am copying this transaction ID, and let's see. So going to Postman and full refund. So I pass this transaction ID and let's see. It's 200. Okay, let's see what is the value of success. This is the success. So here there must be after before this $50 there must be one, okay, which should be the 150. Okay, just refresh. Sometimes it's yeah. So here you can see the 150. If you open this, so you can link this. So refunded transactions means it is pointing to this. So if you say 4GKV, if you open this 4GKV, and here once you will see this, so the refund is happening against, so this amount means 150 was settled. Okay, after this settled means this was refunded here. Okay, so here also, like you have, like suppose you have refunded and you want to cancel it. Okay, so just take this. So here you can see submitted for settlement means it is minus 150, means it is reversing back from the merchant account to the payment provider or the customer account. If suppose it is authorized and here I am getting the void refund, let's cancel it. Okay, if you trigger this, you can able to see success true. Let's refresh this and see. See, it is voided, means the refund which was supposed to happen, that was cancelled, means refund is not happening. So this is how it is very important to understand the state of the transactions. Okay, and which transactions like is needed and what is the pre-qualified criteria to initiate any transactions. Okay, so hope I was able to explain all these transactions related, what are the different estate, and hope you like this video. Thanks for watching. Happy learning.